what's your strategy and your tactic for, because they're different things, right? What is the strategy to win that seat, that Senate seat in South Carolina?
Well, my strategy is not even to be talking about Democrats and Republicans, to be quite honest, talking about the people in South Carolina, because that's what's really important. Most of these folks in rural communities in South Carolina could care less about the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. What they are focused on is, how do I put food on the table? How do I get another job? How can I have a transportation to get to work? And right now, folks are suffering. And so what I'm going to focus on is, how do we help the people in South Carolina? Lindsey Graham looks at the Senate race and being in the United States Senate as being how he becomes relevant, right? For me, I am relevant if I'm helping the people in that state.
So just educate people, because you would be a senator. Most politics is local, and it's really the local politician, your state legislators, that are having the greatest impact on your outcomes. So what can Jaime Harrison do from the Senate seat to help raise and elevate the lives of people in South Carolina?
A Senate seat is a really powerful position to be in, because you're right. A lot of the things that people need on a day-to-day basis is local. However, if a senator calls you and you're on the local level, 9 times out of 10, you picking up that phone to see what you can do to help them. I tell this story all the time, and it's so crazy. This is a crazy story, so y'all don't beat me up. But I'm just telling you the truth. This is a crazy story. My mom was 16 when she had me, dropped out of school, and so my grandparents helped to raise me and raising her at the same time. Right around 18 or 19, my mom decides she wants to move out of the house, get an apartment, get a job. So somebody told her, you should write your senators. And who were our senators at that time? Strom Thurmond and Fritz Hollins. So my mom said she wrote to both of them, and she asked them, can you help me? I'm a young mom. I'm trying to get a job, and I can't even get interviews. Can you help me? Remarkably, both offices responded back to her. And ironically, it was Strom Thurmond's office that eventually got her the interview that got her the job. So in my video, when I launched my video, I'm walking around a factory. It is that factory. That was the first job that my mom got. And I asked my mom, I said, are you sure that was Strom Thurmond? And she laughed at me. And she said, you know what, Jamie, this is the funny thing. She said, they didn't ask me what race I was, and they didn't ask me what political party I belonged to. All they knew was I was a constituent that needed help. And Karen, that is the fire that drives me, because regardless if somebody votes for me or doesn't vote for me, I'm going to work just as hard for those people than the people who do vote for me, because in the end of the day, it is the job of a United States Senator to represent their people, regardless of whether you like him or not. That's the job. And Lindsey Graham gets an F every day in terms of the job. He won't even read the transcripts. Well, you don't have to like what's in the transcripts, but it is your job to read the damn transcripts, but he won't even do that. And so, people take note of all of that. And I want folks to know, I will get up every morning, I will go to bed every night thinking about how can I help improve the lives of the people in South Carolina. We don't have that right now.
Why do you want to do this? You just had a baby. Jamie,
no, 7 months old.
Come on,
5-year-old who thinks he's 25.
You got your hands full,
I do, and I tell people I don't need to do this, but I do it for my sons. I do it for the sons and daughters all across South Carolina, because if I don't, I tell people we're rearing our kids in South Carolina. I want the state to be worthy of my boys. And in order for the state to be worthy of my boys, the leadership of the state has to be worthy of my boys. This is a man. We know what happened in South Carolina with Mother Emanuel. We know that 9 lives were lost because of the tragedy. Taken by a racist. Well, let me tell you, Jim Clyburn, Joe Cunningham, the congressman there, wrote a bill to close the Charleston loophole to make sure that type of situation never happens again. Passed the House in a bipartisan fashion. Where is it now? It is sitting in the Senate. Do you know whose desk is sitting on in the Senate?
Lindsey Graham.
Lindsey O. Graham. So his constituents were murdered, brutally murdered, lost their lives. This legislation to close that loophole is sitting on his desk, and he has said, no, I will not allow it to come to see the light of the day out of the Judiciary Committee. That shows you who this man really is. You can be opposed to the legislation, but out of deference to your constituents and the families that are still there, bring the bill up for consideration. Allow it to be discussed and have a vote up and down.